Oh, happy late birthday, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Oh. Well, another year.
Yeah.
Let's keep the streak going. Hello, everyone, and welcome to ZankCast, where we talk about Beyblade topics with our legendary co-host, the Leon Claw, Combo Builder, Drawn Buster Slayer, Nizuma, everybody.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
You don't like Drawn Buster, huh?
It's all right. It's just, I'm not into the glass cannon thing. Like,
Right. So that's our first topic. That's the segue. What do you think of UX so far? Because UX, I definitely have my thoughts on it, but I kind of want to hear your thoughts because you got a lot of videos of combo testing. Wizard, you just did. A lot of Buster. Hammer. What do you think of UX so far?
I mean, in terms of the releases, I think everything's pretty solid for the most part. The whole UX naming thing, I still am I think is just fluff. It doesn't really feel that big of a difference from the previous releases. Obviously, we've got some weight distribution changes, but weight wise, stuff isn't like Hammer and Buster and Rod even are all pretty standard weight-wise. Rod's a little heavier, but I didn't feel like any of the parts are anything shocking or super innovative or anything. It's all good. I like everything so far. Obviously, as there's some weird parts, so I'm interested to start seeing other people doing testing and see what people come up with. But yeah, I like everything so far. Aesthetically, I think they all look great.
My thoughts. I definitely think Wizard Rod is needed to exist. I feel like some people are kind of hyping it up a little bit much because, which we can get into it, but the blade I think is very solid for stamina, and I feel what UX does, except the hammer blade, it kind of resolves a big issue I kind of had with the meta where it's kind of leaning towards heavily Phoenix Swing. One event I hosted, a guy just sweeped me with Phoenix Orb. Just no chance. 3 different combos, got my ass beat.
Yeah, I feel like Wizard definitely balances the playing field a little bit. And then Buster, I think, is also fairly good. It's not my favorite. I don't love it, but it's pretty good at. I would say it's fairly good at burst builds. Burst attack. Hammer, I'm still sort of working on, but the Hexa bit is great. All of the ratchets are 160 is a little weird. Kind of interested to mess around with that more, but yeah, I feel like I feel like all of the additions sort of balance the current meta a bit because Phoenix was a bit of a problem. You could beat it, but it wasn't easy. I wouldn't call it easy. So it just feels like everything's leveled a little more now. So yeah, everything's solid.
Yeah. So I'll expand kind of. I still have to edit the other stuff, which God knows when I'll get to that. But I think Wizard Rod has the highest stamina right now, generally. I mean, probably stuff can beat it, obviously, but just in general matchups. I think something I really like about Wizard Rod is that other than that Hexa combination, and I guess kind of Disc Ball, if you get it on a regular bowl setup, even in general, the KO resistance is not crazy on Wizard Rod. Buster, if this is on bowl, Buster can knock it out. Phoenix. And a big one I've noticed, especially in a lot of Japan posts from Japanese players, Shark Edge, Kryptonite to Wizard Rod.
Yeah, I actually haven't tested Shark against Rod too much. But yeah, I have noticed that especially Buster and even some other attack builds are anything that can get under the blade seems to do a pretty good job of bursting it. It definitely doesn't feel like a tank. I'm glad that they upped the weight a little bit because it helps with defense some. The stamina is a lot better because both Wizard Arrow, let's be honest, not amazing. And in terms of other stamina stuff, they're not that much. I mean, there's Hell Scythe, which obviously saw a lot of play, but it wasn't very heavy. It was pretty light compared to Rod. Rod's got a couple grams on it, so and the weight distribution is a little better. So
yeah. I think when you look at Wizard Rod, why it's more important than Arrow. Arrow is fine, if you get Arrow even worn, it could have technically the best stamina. I think and technically also pure defense. I just think because of how much attack has been aging, it's not even bad. It's just like, it's like an okay B tier for existing. Like Hell Scythe, I still think you can use Hell Scythe to this day and still be able to, like Hell Scythe, I think aged the best out of the original 4.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, Buster's or not Buster. Drawn Sword's still. Drawn Swords. Geez, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that.
Slander's going crazy.
Yeah, sheesh. You mean the sword slander? Yeah, I think Sword's done pretty well. Like all of the parts are still pretty solid. The blade's decent. It's not my favorite because it's kind of like a one trick type build. It's really just smash attack. So, but yeah, I would say Hell Scythe is definitely for a sword. Pretty much just smash. But yeah, Scythe is definitely, I think, aged the best for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like sword, smash, and kind of a little bit of upper. I mean, sword you could technically use. It's fine. I mean, sword definitely. I mean, compared to Buster, at least in an AVA, maybe Sword could win something. I don't know, but like, I feel like the original form. I mean, Night Shield is like, Night Shield is definitely A. Scythe and Shield but Scythe is above Shield 100%. But like, Arrow's kind of B. Drawn Sword, is because of how the contact's weird. It kind of gets to that B as well. Just like average, not crazy, but like. You could use this and have a decent chance.
Right.
So, let me try to think what else. The new height stuff, I don't know. Is it even worth mentioning? Like, the 70 height, I just think it's worse than 60, but better than 80. And
yeah, I mean, I don't mind having the 70 height stuff because, like, I don't think it's so tall that it's as big of an issue to run as 80 is. I think 80 is kind of like more of a detrimental pick versus 70. Even though it's just like a millimeter difference, I think 70 is like if you wanted to use it, you could get away with it. But I still don't see myself using it over 60 unless I have to.
Yeah, I don't even hate it. It's definitely gonna be one of those weird middle heights, and maybe once we get through season 1, maybe I'll think about it more. Disc ball is very interesting. So it's a lot taller than regular ball because of the guard that they have. So I believe it's almost 2 times a high bit. Because like 60, if you're on 6 height, it becomes technically 80. And if you're on 80, it's technically 100. Yeah,
disc ball, LAD wise and stamina wise is great, but it bursts so easy, and I've noticed that it is able to hop the ridge. Like it KOs easy. It feels like. I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like it hops out way easier than the other stuff. Maybe because it's taller.
Yes,
but I like the bit. It's super sketchy. It just bursts so easy.
So. I was testing this with them because I always try to do extra typically just to be sure, but what you're saying is the same thing that happened to me. One, I think, yes, best stamina bear in terms of just pure stamina. In terms of burst risk, agreed. I tried to do what Japan players do, and you just kind of tilt your shoot a bit to kind of avoid the height of the ratchet contact to burst. And generally I found it's mitigated quite a bit. And if you're on a heavier blade like Rod or Phoenix Wing or even Drake, the burst risk technically no. KO resistance pretty high because of the guard. Also because of the guard. Just goes like, if you don't pay attention, you'll self KO like crazy hard. So definitely, I think like if you don't use it right, you will fail bad. If you use it right, you will sweep hard. I kind of had trouble tiering this. I left this as A because the stamina and KO defense is like, that's the benefit. The negatives, burst risk, and sometimes self-KO if you launch. And it becomes hard because I think like, it's positive enough where I'm like, okay, well, this is definitely something.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those that like if I was building like for deck finals, I would be staring at that hard, trying to weigh whether or not I wanted to use it because like it'll roll forever. Once it's like end game and it's running out of it will roll forever. But yeah, you run the risk of bursting for sure. But yeah, I like it. I definitely think it's a really good part. I actually kind of hope that they do disc variants for some other bits. I think that would be cool. Like even the aggro, like disc taper would be busted.
Interesting.
Like a high burst resistance, like disc aggro tip or disc point or something. Like,
yeah,
I think that'd be pretty solid.
I agree there for that. We'll go over hammer. Hammer is very weird. I've tried so much to make it work because originally I thought it would be a lot better. I did a lot of testing and I'm like, I don't know about this. The one combo I found on session 1 was 60 points if you reverse tilt. So typically when you do a flower pattern, you're going to do like this. On hammer, you have to kind of angle it basically the reverse. And you do that so that way basically the hammer contact is hitting. You still have aggression and stamina. The second one, which I find the most consistent, but even then I still view hammer as maybe high B, is 60 low flat. Because in reality, force smash only works if you're either heavier and taller, or at least you gotta be taller. But hammer's problem is a gap. So it interrupts it a lot. So a lot of times your combo just ends up being smash attack. And what the difference between it is to the viewers wondering, force smash is essentially when you are slamming your opponents down and blasting it to the stadium floor. Smash attack is just like forward. You're just KOing them into a pocket. But I think interesting concept, but I definitely don't know if it's... Yeah, I don't know if it's just the weights, the weight distribution, or just the shape. I feel maybe the shape. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it might be the shape. Actually, hammer is the one thing I haven't done a combo video for yet because I struggled with it so hard trying to figure out what to put it on. Yeah, I would probably rank it like B. Yeah, probably B. Yeah. Maybe it's down there with like Viper Tail or something. Like you can use it, but it's arrows. Like, it's just not very consistent. So yeah, I'm still messing with it for sure.
Yeah. The best bits they released that's now true defense, because the issue with defense bits before, Needle was fine. We used that on high recoil stuff. It could do the job like Hell Scythe. That's why it was popularized. High Needle, even though it was taller, was very much like solid defense on Unicorn Sting on 60 height, on Shield on taller height. The issue with Needle, and High Needle in general, is a little bit of a skill gap there just to make it do it right. And plus burst resistance, but if you launch probably for defense, technically not an issue. But why Hexa works out is that Hexa already has the burst resistance. And interesting because it has a tilting motion to it, and you have to Hex, you gotta tilt. If you don't tilt, you're dead. But if you tilt, you get this motion of like a hammer thing back and forth, super useful for attack stuff. And I found this like, I think just resistance, like this is what defense should be.
Yeah, I think Hexa is the most... I honestly thought it would be the worst, and then I got it, and like immediately after I launched it, I was like, oh, wait a second, this is going to be good. I think it's the best. Definitely the best bit, I think, of the 3 released so far. Super useful, way better stamina than I was expecting. The gimmick isn't like... because at first I think I was expecting it to perform more like Quake when it started to tilt. but
Same.
the angles aren't so pronounced that it ends up that ends up happening. So it's good. It's solid.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's what actually saves Hammer a lot, because it's actually funny. In Japan, the least popular out of the three is Hammer. Rod, because of the stamina, sells out. Buster, because in Japan, I know they like Buster a lot. I always see it apparently high, really in tier lists. But, like,
Yeah.
Hammer, I think Hammer, it's like, if you get Hammer, it's the bit. Because the blade's not
yeah,
doing
100%.
anything. The ratchet's like, it exists.
Yeah, it's yeah, the ratchet's kind of whatever. But yeah, definitely the bit, like, yeah, I would buy it for the bit. I think the bit justifies the purchase for sure. Like, I wouldn't skip the release. I think it's probably the blade's the most
Kind of just
I don't
subpar.
know. Yeah, the most subpar probably of the three, but the bit is definitely really good. Great part.
All right, now we're gonna get to the controversy of this one. This one you don't like. Drawn Buster. Oof.
Yeah.
So, you already mentioned some points that we kind of discussed a little bit about, but Drawn Buster is the most extreme version of Shark, which Shark is kind of pure attack, and Drawn Buster is now 100% pure. Like, even in the manga, they acknowledge this. It's literally just for this one big impact. The issue with Drawn Buster, and it's still good, but there's definitely a skill gap that's going to be with this blade. It needs high RPM, otherwise you'll destabilize, lose stamina, and die. And I think it's really best on low height, not just because attack, but literally because the center of gravity is so off on this thing. The closer to the ground it is, I think the better. Because I found flat, point, even gear point, even taper, there's a weird kind of balance to it. Even if you do 560, which I haven't done, but I'm not going to waste my time. I feel low flat works just because so close to the ground, so it doesn't have to stand so tall and walk, because the distribution is like it's all kind of pushed to focus on that end.
Right. Yeah, I haven't actually spent too much time with it on low flat, but that does make sense. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people got mad because like when I did the tier list video, people were like upset because I ranked it so low.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I mean, if you're ranking based on like skill or whatever, or like the consistency, if you're doing like the taper flat, whatever, yeah, it's probably not going to be the most consistent for everyone, right? And if you already, and let's say if you don't like Shark, you'll probably hate Buster.
Yeah, my reasoning for like ranking it under most of the other attack types is I have a couple reasons. One is it's so off balance. It's more off balance than anything else. B, it's really got like one attack point, right? Mm-hmm. Versus like Shark, which like, I mean, one like major attack point versus Shark, which is like fairly balanced or whatever. So it's definitely high risk, high reward. If you make contact, if you make the right contact, you get the good launch, you don't KO, whatever, or self KO, then you're probably in a good position. Something's probably going to happen. But if you miss, or they counter launch, or they avoid you, or whatever, then it's not looking great. It just, to me, it's just too high risk. I like it aesthetically. I like it. I think it's really cool. Yeah, but I wouldn't use it. I legitimately wouldn't use it.
I mean, that makes sense.
The 160 ratchet, I think, is pretty interesting. I'm interested to try that on some other stuff. The Excel bit is probably, to me, like the most whatever bit from the UX stuff. I just don't. It's just like doesn't do anything that different for me to be super interested in it.
Yep. Yeah, we basically covered it for Buster. I just rank it. I just keep throwing out my arm every time I have to do testing, but then I really enjoy the concept of just killing your opponent in one hit. I don't know. It's fun.
It's still when it My bad.
Go on.
When it hits,
No.
when you make good contact, it feels good. Like, because it hits so hard. It's like a baseball bat. But
It's like when Spider-Man
it's,
in the Raimi movies puts on the black suit and like, oh, it feels good.
yeah. But yeah, I just like a lot of people commented too. Like when I did the videos, they were like, "Oh, you're not launching hard enough. You're not launching hard. You got to launch harder. You got to launch harder." I'm like, my thought process is if you have to launch as hard as physically possible in order to make it work, is probably like everybody's putting it in S tier. It's like I don't know, man. If you got to launch it that hard,
because A is like middle ground. Because then I could put it lower if you want to.
Yeah, well, the tier list is kind of weird too for X because like there's very little that's like bad.
Well, Leon Claw.
I mean, you got Rhino, but that's Rhino's bad. I think you misspoke. I think you meant Rhino.
Well, no, but I definitely understand. You can say it's too daily in the sense you got to launch really hard, but then again, we're talking about consistency. So if it's a little bit of this high bar, regardless if it's launch strength or not, which could be true, that still means that there is a skill difference, that's why I made a tier list based not only on power level, but also skill. Because if this was power level, Drawn Buster is SS. But there's consistency we have to value. So what you're saying, if you rank it B, C, whatever, D, and you're like, well, it's not that consistent for me. I understand its strengths, but I think the negatives over the yeah, that makes sense. It's fine. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like kind of how I feel about Leon Claw.
So let me get this straight. So Leon Claw, hard launching that one to win. That's okay. Drawn Buster, it's the crime. Why?
No, I don't. Well, no. I mean, like, there's a skill gap. For sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't like Leon Claw doesn't require you to launch as hard as possible.
Have you ranked Leon Claw higher than Drawn Buster on your tier list? I actually have to see this now.
Yes, I did.
No.
You're
taking a piss. No.
I ranked Buster down with like Wizard Arrow.
Oh, I have to figure out how much bullshit's in this.
No, I was pretty fair with Leon Claw. I put it like middle ground.
See? Wait, where's Leon Claw on your tier list? Bro,
I ranked it at the very end.
Oh, that's smart. That's how you get them at the end. You got me.
Yeah.
I want bro. The number one came on to your friend. That's good though. That keeps the comment engagement.
Yeah, some people weren't happy about
it. No, it's Buster, man. It's bullshit.
People were so mad about it. I'm like, look, it's just opinion, really. Like, this is just like we've had them for like a week. Like, haven't seen. We're just now getting tournament results and stuff. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It doesn't bother me to be wrong. But I personally, the way I ranked it based on how I feel about it. So,
well, that's how a tier list should be, right? There's personal opinion, whatever. That's what matters. I do find it funny. So I was reading this one comment. It's like, finally, someone that says that disc ball isn't so crazy at the top. There are people, and this is in general. I hate that. There are armchair bladers, and I hate the existence of them because I feel like they watch our stuff, and unless we confirm what they say, they'll get validated. And if we don't, they'll be like, well, sir. Drawn Buster has to be launched at 3,000 RPM. You did it at 1,000 RPM. It's a bullshit video.
I literally got a comment like that. Like, here's the thing. If you can make it work, that's fine.
Yes.
But, make a video.
Exactly.
Everybody can make a YouTube video. You can do your own testing videos. Yeah. You can put up your win-loss ratios. Like, prove it.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can make it work, make it work.
That's literally what I'm saying, because you have people, me, you, Fable, Dan and K and Beyblade, Shindog, etc. Like, we do this stuff, But I always say this, that like our testings are not objective. It's our opinions. You should always test yourself.
And
this is just like research.
100%. And there's always a difference between solo testing versus playing against someone versus actual tournament play. They're all very
100%.
different from each other. Because you're dealing with like different bladers with different strategies. If you're playing with one person, even like testing against one person, that one person is going to play a certain way. Maybe they're not as knowledgeable. Maybe they have different strategies. So it's all different. And really, like the way that you gauge how good something is objectively is to take all of the information, take everybody's testing videos. That's what I do. I watch other people's testing videos. I look at tournament results. I look at other people's comments in the WBO and stuff. And, you know, some of my information might not always be accurate, or it may be proven wrong in the future, but that's just part of the game. The game evolves as it goes, as new parts come out, things become viable, things become less viable. And that's just how it works. So, yeah.
And I feel like an opinion doesn't have to be the same thing in a week from now, in a month from now, because with Bays, for an example, I thought Sphinx could maybe work at 70 height because of the high taper stuff on the 60. 70 comes out, I'm not too much of a fan. I think Sphinx should be actually lower than where I put it in like B, for an example. The opinions change, and I feel like, I don't know, it's just my pet peeve. Like, whether or not, I prefer it's more like, wow, this is interesting, you got these and this results, not, oh, wow, so this is really this. Like, reference, not...
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got... everybody's got their preferences too and their different strategies, and so that's why it's why I want to make Leon Claw work, because I like it and I think it's a little better than what most people think. But that's just Beyblade. Like, have fun with it. Do your testing. Absorb more than one source for information and more than just your own as well. Yes,
but Leon Claw is still low.
No.
Damn it.
That one's wrong. There's no. I'm definitely biased.
That one's the only wrong one.
I'm definitely biased on that one.
No, it's all right. Okay, so we pretty much got through the UX stuff. Well, we're gonna segue to Hasbro, and then we'll end off. We got one big one. You did a video on this. There was a tweet that was somewhat recent. You covered this. They're going to be doing a new update on the Japan rules. The development team is currently testing a new rule that will add more strategy to the game, where each part in Beyblade X will be ranked, and the number of parts that can be used for a match will vary depending on a part's rank. Following the new rules, a testing tournament will be held in June 2024, and the rules introduced in the tournaments of grade G2 and above from space blah, blah, blah. Summer will reveal the rules, but they did this tweet and everything, and I think it's really interesting that they're approaching it kind of like, well, actually, we don't know what the system is going to be, but it kind of reminds me of this idea of like, either in like these gacha games, for an example, or like RPGs, and you have to have like maybe like a certain, you're capped at a certain amount.
Yeah. For like points,
or like these
for like
tiers,
skill points or whatever. Yeah.
Like a Pokemon, the Pokemon Showdown.
Yeah, like you can only have so many legendaries or whatever, or so many of certain criteria or whatever. I think it's super smart of them.
Yes.
Because if there ends up being power creep or things that are significantly stronger, like let's say Phoenix Wing and Wizard Rod are both considered S tier.
Yes.
You could, and they say you could only have one S tier in your deck or whatever. So I think that's really smart in keeping things balanced, so you're not seeing people run all of the same combos at every tournament. Really smart. I really like the idea.
You can also have it where shitty stuff can also be used, because maybe let's say it's like, okay, it's only being above. And I feel it's a smart move, because while that means now technically the company makes an objective, air quotes, kind of tiering of where they view certain parts, that means there'll be certain priority over others. And I'm kind of curious, how will this work for the future? Will this be the month of the release? They already have it tiered. Will this be 1 month after release? It'll be this tier. because I'm just wondering what marketing bullshit they're going to do. Is it going to be something where it's like, well, our new Bay, Phoenix Volcano, is an SS tier. It releases this month. Buy it now, but you're only allowed one. You know what I mean? Like something like that.
Yeah, I would hope that they would
Not
wait.
manipulated.
Yeah, I would hope that they would wait for, because I'm sure that they have information on like tournament results as well. I would hope that they would gather information for that and like rank the stuff, let's say a month after, whatever. And like, because like stuff gets balanced in TCGs, like, every couple months or whatever, they'll do a ban list or an update or whatever. And it would be smart for them to do it like that, as they see things sort of creep up or do worse or better, they can modify that.
Yeah, I'm also wondering, because I know Hasbro is working with the WPN, the Wizards player network, I don't know, private player, whatever, the network, that is like the Wizard stuff, the TCG. So kind of wondering, like, will they also have something similar? Maybe there's like the Hasbro tier list or whatever?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure. Maybe they work in conjunction with each other, because
that'd be interesting.
For a lot of TCGs, they tend to mirror. Most of the time, they tend to mirror whatever like the OCG or the Asia region is. So not always, but yeah, I would hope that Hasbro keeps the same sort of system.
Right. Plus, good content, because that means we can review what their tier list is and see what's bullshit on it.
Yeah, that, and like depending on how it's set up, if you're only allowed like, let's say, one S tier and one A tier and B tier, whatever, then it makes you take a second look at some of the stuff that's not super useful right now.
Yes. Well, the next topic, actually, because this segues into the main one, let's talk about Hasbro. Alrighty.
Sure.
We got an unfortunate friend here, the Bucket Stadium, which I have coined this term. The green. This is actually what the Extreme Pocket is. That pocket there, that's the Extreme Pocket. I actually realized that because Keto was telling me about it.
Yeah, it took me like a day to figure that out as well.
Yeah, that stadium is. Okay, we gotta get the politically correct answer for this. Obviously, it's the cheap alternative if people can't get the big stadium. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, what are your thoughts on the stadium?
As a whole, like, I'm
shit, I don't know.
Like you said, like I understand them doing a cheap stadium for kids or whatever to get into it. I do think it's smart that the teeth don't go all the way around the curve, so it'll probably, and it's not as steep of a curve either, so it probably won't be as fast or as excessive. So maybe that's to try to mitigate them not having a shroud on it. I still think not having a shroud is like a little sketchy.
Yes.
Just because, I mean, if they fly out and they hit a kid in the face, then like there goes Beyblade. Hasbro gets sued. Then what happens?
Well, sir. They actually say on the box, warning, caution, don't lean. So it's on the stadium. No. Okay.
I mean, you broke. How many camera lenses have you broken with the shroud?
More than the videos pay.
Yeah, imagine that to your eyeball.
I definitely think, like, obviously the shrouds aren't invincible for blocking. I think when we're discussing this, people think when we say, oh, the shrouds protect, oh, well, actually, there's a lot of times when they fly out. Yes, obviously. But the percentage of probably if that shroud of that top area was gone would probably be pretty high.
Yeah, a lot more.
Than just if it was there. Now, regardless, do I think you will probably get something crazy like that in this? I think probably the gameplay has to be shit in this and they'll probably not have to worry about it. Because I'm assuming probably the big thing with X2 is because the bays go so fast and hit each other, and because of that fast speed and impact, it causes them to get launched up like that. I'm no physics expert. I'm just trying to go off of what I would assume. I still think, I don't know, it's a little bit odd. I'm just wondering, gameplay-wise, like, because it's interesting, the pocket design, could this potentially be better than the original TT or even the Hasbro one? You know,
Probably
I don't know. Probably not, right? We gotta give them hope.
I mean, I'm gonna buy
maybe the
one.
gameplay ends up being good.
I'm gonna get one, and I'm gonna, I'll do some videos in it because it's a different stadium, right? So I'm down for a different stadium. And I get, like I said, I get why they make it. So, but I mean, it's a bucket stadium, I think at least they have the rails. I mean, that's something.
Yeah. It'll probably shred, but it's there.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, we'll wait and see. I can't joke too much because apparently I give any criticism and some Hasbro kid will go crying, "Oh my god, you're so unfair to Hasbro. Why don't you like the stadium?" Oh god.
Yeah, wait till a kid gets...
Listen here, Zankye, you piece of shit. This stadium is the only thing that I can afford, and if you don't like, fuck this channel, man. This is the only stadium I got.
No, I mean, I'm gonna get one. It'll probably be funny, for a couple of videos or whatever, but the experience will be different. So, we'll end up getting some kids, and that's the stadium that they got, and they'll be like, "Oh, Rhino Horn on
obviously
Gear Flat is so good. I used it in my bucket stadium, and it won every time."
Yeah, definitely it's going to be interesting to see how different the meta is. Obviously, wait and see whether it wears, whether it's good or it's bad. Obviously, we're just joking. I'm very curious on some of the other stadiums they'll be doing, because I think there's some Marvel Battle set, and there's a 25th stadium, which I assume is 25th Annie. Is it going to be a reference to their original stadiums with the little tattoo details?
That would be so sick.
If they do
I'd be so down for that. I have nostalgia for those stadiums.
Those stadiums
that would be cool
if they did that today.
Yeah, I mean, those are essentially bucket stadiums too. But I would, just for the nostalgia, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Speaking of the stadiums, I also have to address this because if I don't address, if you see the Beyblade burst behind those things on Turbo Era when they're talking about Slingshot, Hasbro and specifically the Beyblade team are confined to specific dimensions for how they make the stadiums. So that's why the Hasbro Extreme Stadium is squished. That's why they do the bucket stadiums. They have to confine to these rules. So you'll never get it, very likely never get it, where you'll get the original TT Stadium. That's copium if you think that. But I want to say that because if I don't mention these small little details, people will either think we're not being good faith, or the other is who will not understand why is the stadium the way that it is. That is the reason.
Yeah, I actually think the Hasbro Stadium looks pretty fun. Actually, the Pro Stadium or whatever. Yeah, I think it looks interesting. I don't know if it's good. It's just like I said. It's just a different stadium. Gameplay will obviously be very different in it because of the dimension changes, and I think that'll be fun. So it's close enough, I think, for most kids that they'll get.
Yeah, that's I give more.
They'll be getting the
that
experience. Yeah, they got as close as they could.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of which, these are going to be interesting. What do we think of Clone Central Hasbro exclusives? We're going to start with the first one, because they kind of ripped off your boy Leon Claw with this one.
Yeah, so the chip design I don't like.
Fire. What?
I don't like it, yeah.
On Samurai?
Yeah, I don't know, something maybe it's the colors or the design. I don't like the chip design. I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but it's definitely I don't love it. But the actual blade, the blade shape change, I think looks pretty interesting. I don't know if that's going to make it better or worse, but this means that I can run 2 Leon Claws at tournaments, basically. So I need them to make a third one so I can have a full deck.
So something interesting to kind of mention with this is that, and I'll keep showing this, but all of them are very in a similar regard where they reused I think all of them reused the Zuganic basically of the plastic base, but the metal mold is modified. Now, the more I thought about this, I'm skeptic in the sense of, and the other one was the Mammoth Tusk Mammoth, whatever. That's the ripoff of Hellscythe. I'm very curious if the reason why they are like this, because we see an example we're going to get to in a second that's now proper. Did Hasbro just decide we want exclusives, but, you know, to modify just a pre-existing mold probably saves us some time. Reuse the plastic probably saves some time. Because these exclusives, like, they're still technically new content, but I feel like after seeing our case of Shinobi, which we'll get to, I'm just wondering, like, weren't they just kind of like the cheap way to do exclusives?
I mean, probably for sure, because like the plastic inlays, they can use existing molds or whatever, so that saves money. I mean, TT did the same thing with Feather. Right?
But context. Oh my god, sorry, long week. Context. They did this with Devil and Dynamite and Feather and Drone Sword. My defense of this is it's shitty magazine promotion, not a main release.
True.
But for Hasbro, some of them are still definitely, we could even argue, more of a variation than Feather was. So I can't say, like, they're not different at all. I definitely think this approach is interesting. But I do wonder, and I'll let you finish your thoughts on this, just kind of, if they clone a good blade, you potentially have two good. If they clone a shitty one, and it's still ass, well, now I'm going to hate it for more of a reason. So if they clone good shit, more options. If they clone bad shit but make it good, that's also positive.
Yeah, I don't mind them sort of modifying pre-existing stuff. I would like to see completely unique stuff in the future.
That's my point.
But taking some of those designs that aren't particularly good and reshaping them, like you said, could be a better thing. Like Shinobi, I think looks like it would be better than Rhino, just because like the gaps are less pronounced. You know, like Rhino's very much like a cross-shaped, whereas Shinobi looks like those chunks that were missing in Rhino are a little less pronounced. Yep. So maybe that ends up being better, because Rhino's really small, it's really dense. Like changing that blade shape just a little bit could make it way better. I don't know if it will be.
Samurai, what it improves over Leon Claw potentially is that the contact points are on the side and not on the top. So potentially you could have it maybe where the taper and the balance combos this works. We'll cover Shinobi. We'll go more in a second. With Shinobi, because Rhino is basically used just for attack, you could basically maybe get this as some compact attacker maybe. Terra, I think, is the worst out of the three for probably potential, because even if you look at the box, Viper Tail, the big thing, because this is reusing the Viper Tail base, is the fangs are kind of protecting a little bit of that gap, right?
Yeah.
And I understand what they're doing with it, but I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna do much. I think it might be clapped. Might.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, I feel like there's been a few things that have come out that I'm like, that'll be good or that'll be bad, and then it's completely the opposite of what I was expecting. So
toss.
Yeah, I do like the chip design of Terra though. Like, I think it looks cool.
Oh yeah, that one looks nice. I gotta point this out, bro. Someone Hasbro is fucking up on the graphic design. This chip design looks terrible. The color choice looks like a toddler played darts and threw it on whatever the color hue wheel was, because it is all over the place. Visually, the hand is shittily drawn. I don't know who did this. You might be a good artist. They needed you more time to draw this. The hand looks so off. Look at the hand. The hand does not match the art style of this thing, and it's so. I swear to God, they're like, wait, bro, put a hand on it. But we don't have time. Put a hand on it.
Let's use AI.
Oh my God! With Hasbro, probably.
I really don't like the Shinobi chip design. I really, really don't like it. It looks so basic and plain. It looks like stock photo art that you would like buy on a CD back in 2005 at the dollar stores. It's so bad. I hate it. I legitimately, I really, really don't like it.
Yes. Speaking of which, the actual Shinobi, like the color difference on both of these is oh, I turned it off. I'm sorry. The color difference on both of them are crazy, and we'll get to this in a second. Wait. Okay, so it's like this. So if I do this, wow, guys, we figured out how colors work with each other. Proper purple on the thing, not this weird dark. Actually, I think this is such an odd thing. Okay, well, actually, speaking of which, there is Shinobi Shadow, and I was very surprised by this. And what I think happened with these exclusives for Hasbro is I doubt most of them are true exclusives, not counting the Marvel stuff, whatever. I think they're like, what motifs do you guys have? Well, for UX, we have Shinobi motif planned. Oh, Shinobi! When you get one of your designer guys, we'll reuse the base of one of these things. Give me just a slightly different art, and we'll have it for our stuff. That's what I think. And that's what I'm assuming with this stuff.
Do you think they take any of these models, and when they dub it over here, they replace some of the recycled Beyblades they used in the anime and use those?
I thought they could. I wouldn't be.
Because they reused when they reused Prize Viper Tail or whatever, they could replace it with that.
That would be nice, actually.
Yeah. I'm curious if they end up doing that.
Happen.
Probably not, but they could.
That'd be cool.
They should.
They should do it now. Yeah, but speaking of Shinobi, we get the return of, which is a little bit scary, but probably won't be an issue because I think the stadiums are thick enough to handle it. Metal Needle, our first actual material gimmick bit. Yeah.
Yep.
Agreed.
Metal Needle. I mean, here's the thing. Needle has been used in Beyblade X because there hasn't been anything else.
Yes.
As soon as something else comes along that's better, people are going to stop using it. Needle tips overall, in general, have typically not been particularly good. Metal Sharp was not good. There have been Metal Sharps in the past. There's just metal is a cool material to use for tips, but Metal Sharp is typically not a tip that is particularly great. So I'm not I'm glad they're finally doing a different material, but I'm not ecstatic about a Metal Sharp.
Yes. I mean, the concept of Shinobi Shadow, the blade is very smoothed out. So it's supposed to parry off these attacks because of its shape, kind of like a ninja, moving in the shadows, right? Bobbing and weaving. Metal Needle, the idea is supposed to hold the position in the center and I guess have the weights there. I think it'll be fine. I don't think anything beyond that. If maybe the defense, if it doesn't kill my stadium, we're already in a positive. If it does, into the bin, we'll find out, but potentially, if you want to highball it, you could maybe on a Wizard Rod or maybe a Phoenix Wing or even a Drake or something heavy. Maybe you could have true defense on max weighting stuff. That's at best if you're charitable to everything.
Yeah. The blade does look cool. I hope that it's decent because the shape is really. I don't like the chip design for that one much either. Sure. I think it looks pretty basic comparatively, but I think the blade looks amazing and the colors look super cool.
Yeah, so the other ones, they come with the black variant has 960 low flat, and the other one, the piss one, has 370 gear point. Why low flat again? Why are they torturing us? Where is Rush?
Yeah, another 960 is cool. That'll be good to have. The ratchet for the prize is what, 180?
180, yeah. It's weird. I don't care. It's like, okay, I guess. I guess they're just trying to get through all the heights and whatever.
The heights. Yeah, I mean, all of the parts, I don't know. The blade looks like the most interesting part to me. The metal sharp, like you said, if it's on like something super heavy, I mean, maybe once we get it in the stadium, we'll be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah,
it somehow manages to do something different than all of the other metal sharps we've ever had. But yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting much.
I guess it's cool they got gear points. That's fine. That's neutral territory. I'm not a hater of that. I'm like, okay, that exists.
Yeah, I'm down for gear point. I'm all right with that.
Alrighty, next up, owned by the meathead that is Rex, Tyranno Beats. What do we think of the dino?
The blade looks sick. I love it. The chip I think is cool. The color's cool. I have seen the side profile and it looks super janky though. Like,
yeah, it's like
one
a
side
weird
looks
gap,
really,
like massive.
Yeah, it looks like it might be super off balance. So I don't know. I hope it's good. It looks cool. I want it to be good. So, but it looks janky from the side profile. Yeah, it looks weird.
I'm wondering if the attack is just so crazy they had to give it a gapper or something on it. Because, I mean, with attack types, I feel like if, let's say we just get to this thing where let's say the weight's just more or less going to be the same in a year from now for general blades and stuff, I feel like at this point for attack stuff, you just, like, go crazy with it. You make it some crazy, wacky, aggressive shape, because it's pretty much the only thing you can do. Which is not a bad thing, it's just, like, I think we'll eventually maybe hit the plastic gen where it's like you can pretty much use a lot of things and it's like it doesn't really matter that much. Just buy whatever you like.
Yeah, which I'm down for. Like, if you can sort of pick by aesthetic rather than picking stuff that you don't like you're picking just because it's better.
Now, speaking of which, what I don't think is going to be better in this generation, Quake.
Has Quake ever been good? I hate Quake.
Well,
I have a bad history with Storm Capricorn. It's like one of my least favorite Beyblades ever released, and so like, yes, I really don't like the Quake gimmick. I get it; it's like fun, and kids obviously like it. I'm just the weird one out that like hates it. I don't think it'll be good though.
I think it'll be fun. Even trying a 3D print of it, I think it might have self-KO issues or something like that. I don't know. I think the obvious point here is like, even with Spike on Rhino, I think if they want to make this go long, you will have to have the gimmicks that are just shit just to exist. Like Quake probably won't work, but just to exist. Like Spike, shit, but necessity to exist. Yeah. So I mean, like eventually we could get something where like the bearing rubber core or some shit like 2-3 years from now. So just like, the basic stuff I don't care too much about. It's interesting, but the manga literally has it where Rex loses because he self KOs with Quake.
Yeah. It'll be funny on Buster, I think.
Oh, that'll be funny. That might actually break the gear protector. Just
just snap it off.
Snap it off. Okay, the other ones, you got the green one, which is 360 Spike. Terrible for Spike. Drawn Dagger, very solid. 470 point. Oh yeah, 470. Forgot to mention this.
Yay.
Another 4-side. I can't wait to get rid of all the 4-sided stuff. Like, I know when 90 happened. Watch the first 90 release before 90. Oh my god. Well, Hell's Chain 960 Orb, awesome. Shark 160 Quake and Rhinohorn 580 Quake, but I think this lineup, I think in general, other than maybe sometimes the selects that are a little bit off, except for the Sphinx one, I think in terms of the selection here, I think the selection, even with Shark, even with Wyvern Gale, I think right direction for what they're picking.
Yeah, I really like the colors too. For like the green Tyranno obviously looks really cool. The Hell Chain looks really cool. The Rhino even like color wise, I think looks really nice. Like all the colors I would say look pretty good. I think probably my least favorite in there is probably the dagger. The orange dagger looks.
I was about to say. They literally just
maybe
hue and saturation, hue minus 180 on the other end.
Yeah, maybe it'll look better in person, but I mean overall I think it looks pretty solid. I don't really want three Quake bits, but I guess I'm gonna have them. So.
I don't want any 470s.
No. Well, yeah, that too. I'm gonna have to start a separate box for stuff that just never gets touched.
Aside from that, we're going to get to a little bit interesting stuff because BX32 was scheduled, I had to pre-order this, was supposed to be for April. No longer. They moved it. This happened on UX04. This was supposed to be scheduled for March. They moved it to end of April. I'm wondering on the 3-player stadium, when, like, will this be a thing where it's like I guess at the end of May or something? Because very odd they pushed it out.
Yeah, you think maybe it's like production issues? Like, I don't see any reason to delay a stadium.
I think maybe because there's already a stadium set, not to take the focus away and have like, okay, this focus month. Oh, sorry.
Right. No, you're good.
All right.
Yeah.
TT employees and Pinkerton calling now.
Yeah. The three-player stadium, I'm actually looking forward to. I think it's pretty cool. I doubt it'll get. People probably won't use it for tournaments. It'll probably just be like a gimmick stadium here, I would imagine.
Oh, it's a gimmick thing here.
Yeah, much, so it's cool. I mean, it's going to be really big. I'll probably try to get one. But yeah. I mean, that's about it.
Common Y. Appeared in the anime first. Now appears in the manga. Any thoughts on this guy?
True? I don't think it's Chrome.
Really?
Why would it be?
Shit, I don't know. Find out next month.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, it could be, I guess. But, like, is there any reason for Chrome to also be dressing up in this little outfit? And why does it match... Why does it match Common X's? Like, did they both, like... Or did he see Common X like, oh, I'm going to make a cool helmet, too? Like, I don't know. I need to see an explanation.
I thought maybe it's like, maybe he wants to face him to see his current level or something. I don't know. No, but then that would I don't know. Maybe the third member of Team Pendragon?
That's kind of what I was thinking. Like, this is going to be a reveal at the end. But is this... They would hide his face for a reason, though. So...
It says at the end, Common X, you're not my enemy. And you're kind of wondering...
But Chrome already knows that Common X is Cross, though, right?
Yes. So, that's a good point.
So, like, he wouldn't be there standing there saying that if... Because he already knows him.
True.
I'm thinking third member of Pendragon or some, like, crazy big... reveal, I don't know, Vault's back or something.
Yeah, Vault's, oh my god. The chapter does one homage, and people think it's the Beyblade multiverse.
It is the Beyblade multiverse. Let it happen, Zankye.
Guys,
it'd be so cool.
It's Jenga, it's Jenga, and Tyson. Oh my god,
Look.
guys, it's the OVA!
Yu-Gi-Oh did it. Gundam Build Fighters did it. Let Beyblade have a cross.
The silhouette of this thing, it kind of looks like the Victory Valkyrie, but it's not.
Yeah, actually, it kind of does now that you say that. That looks interesting. I don't know what it is, but it looks cool.
Supposed to be the June teaser. It's supposed to be in some summer book, whatever. Very weird shape. Wondering why part of the areas are protruding so much. This would probably have to be the basic line.
Yeah, so
No, it would be. Sorry.
You said we're getting information on that in June issue.
Yeah, so May. Sorry, yes.
So May issue. So
May
next
15th,
month.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. The shape looks super cool though. Looks very
odd.
sharp. Looks different. It looks different.
Maybe this is common wise, Bay, because that's what I'm wondering. That's where I want to leave off with. We have the June as a booster, July as a starter, random booster. What are your thoughts? Like, I know for sure 3 slots have to be Pendragon, but what else can they do? Because I'm pretty sure because Persona 1, that means they go straight to the top now, don't they?
Yeah, they should, unless they do like a filler chapter before they get there and kind of draw some stuff out.
Maybe they get like ambushed?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't... I mean, surely they will drag it out until the anime sort of co-lines, right? Because they don't... They probably don't want the manga to like beat Team Pendragon like months before the anime ends. I would think.
So I'm trying to think what they could do. I think maybe you could have one that's common Y. And then I'm just trying to think. You could definitely have a floor boss. I'm just trying to think what else they could do. Maybe... Because the starter in July is supposed to be similar to that of the BX-23, I'm pretty sure. So... Maybe another Phoenix? I don't know.
There's no way they have Bird win the last battle of the tower.
I don't even... If he beats Chrome, that'll be the most bullshit thing I have seen for writing. If he beats a third person, and I don't know, it's... Because Bird's thing is like... You kind of mastered Hammer, but you forgot to tilt. And it's like, I don't know. If Bird somehow... I don't want it to be like... Chrome gets overconfident or something, and Bird doesn't take... I don't know. I want Bird just to get... I want Bird to get something. Have it be where maybe Common X loses against Crone, Multi beats her sister, and then it's up to Bird.
Yeah. I mean... I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see how they do it. Like, maybe they write it in a way where, like, by the time he beats, whoever the opponent is, like, we'll be hyped for it. But, yeah, I'm a little sketched on that. But, yeah, I'm interested to see, because, like, they're really jumping real fast up that tower. So I'm curious what their plan is to do after that, like World Tournament or something, because like that's the whole goal is for them to go up this tower, and they've done it in a very short period of time. So what happens next? Yeah,
because there's not much else I don't know that they can do with him. Because now in the anime they have the battle, what's it called, Battle Shuffle Festival, whatever. It's basically all the teams are mixed. So you have like Multi working with, so I mean that's, I don't know, the anime's working at least with something, so I'm very, very curious to see where this goes. Also surprised, I thought we'd see Black Hell's Chain. I thought they would announce it or something. It's in May, but I thought like we'd get a teaser. Yeah,
same. Like, we did get the announcement for the new prize though. The new gold rod for the tournament?
Gold Wizard Rod, that's a tournament prize, and I'll get the specific. That is, was it G3?
Yeah, I think it's G3.
Oh, that's replacing the shield, right?
Yeah.
Because Knight Shield. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good prize.
When does that start? Do we know? June? That's dope. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna want to definitely gonna try to get one of those for sure.
I still can't get a shield.
Oh yeah, I got mine like at the start.
Yeah. Well, lucky you.
Well, I still don't have cobalt. So
Well, okay, let's see. I don't know. I think shield's a little bit cooler than cobalt.
you think shield's cooler than cobalt?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know, I
Cobalt's
just wanna
pretty
have it.
dope
Okay.
looking.
Anyways, wrapping up now for some interesting things said today, some of which will be omitted in the final edit, hopefully. Anything you want to leave off with in terms of any Hasbro? I feel that we covered pretty much all the topics this week. Yes. I guess we did. Anything else, or?
No, I think that's pretty much everything for me.
Okay. Well, plug your stuff.
Plug the stuff. All right. If you guys want to check out some more Beyblade content, you can check out my channel at Nizuma Blader on YouTube. Cover everything from Plastic Gen all the way up to Beyblade X. Love to see you guys over there. And if you want to support the channel, I have a T-shirt of my cat Max. if you guys want to grab one of those. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Oh,
Thanks for having me.
You're working on that thing, right? Of the Max stickers?
Oh yeah. Well, I haven't officially. Well, I guess by the time this goes up, I think I get them tomorrow. So yeah, we're getting holographic foil chip stickers of Max. I will have a fairly inexpensive Patreon tier if you guys want to join the Patreon. I will be sending those out for a limited period of time to Patreon supporters. They're really sick looking.
So, links in the description for all of Nizuma stuff. If you want to get a sticker that will boost the weight of your bay by 300 grams, instant win, probably. This might
the
make
full
it
weight
Land
of my
Claw
back.
win. You get the Max sticker on it. Okay, that'll be it. I don't know when we're going to be back. Let me see. When's the next time we're going to get news? Alrighty, well, 1, 2, 3, 4. In 4 weeks.
Jeez.
Yo.
Well, we got new releases coming up. So
That is, yeah, okay. We can do one after Tyranno beat, so maybe like the 4th of well, not actually, not on the day we recorded, but yeah, and then after. Yeah,
we get Trigger too, right? We get Trigger as well?
Yes. Trigger S is releasing it in a few weeks. Actually, not even a few weeks. I think it's literally like we're almost at close to the week. No, like a little over a week. Well, actually, when this podcast is launched on a Saturday, a week from now, because we'll be launching this on the 20th, so that'll be the 27th. Yeah, we can talk about the meta of Trigger, Tyranno beat, or something. Yeah. Alrighty.
Sounds good.
That's gonna be it for now. Take care and bye. Oh my god.